I used to do lots of things.
I used to do things and I'd say things and Jesus I was evil. Take things and break things and Jesus I was evil. I never shook baby.
Before whatever's on the show. So we might as well just start now.
Yeah. So we're talking Oscars today.
We are we'll talk initial impressions.
Yep.
I mean, as a year, this has been my favorite movie year in a while. Just overall.
Yeah.
I think 2021 and 2020, 2020, 2021 were down years.
Yeah.
I think 2019 is considered an excellent year. I know a lot of people consider like 2019 and 1999 and as like great years. I can't remember. I mean, besides Parasite, I just kind of forget what else was 2019 off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But this year, I think it's been really good.
Nice.
I don't know if you feel the same way, but like the past couple of years, my top rated movies, like the top have been like 91s and 90s.
Yeah.
And I already have a few that are like 96, 95s and things like that. Yeah.
Sweet, man. Yeah. Just like last year, I think I've seen about 2 of these movies.
Yeah, I was going to say, have you actually seen any of them? And it sounds like no. Which is so weird to me because you are like a movie guy.
I know.
What, are you just watching like old VHSs of like alt movies, alt horror?
Yeah, I'm going through cinema's history. I'm only on 1913 right now, so I'm still got a few.
1913.
So I got like about a century or so to catch up.
Yeah. I have a movie on my list from 1936.
Wow.
Called, I have it saved. I always pass by. I'm like, should I watch it tonight? My man Godfrey. It's like a classic screwball comedy.
Yeah. I think that was a Howard Hawks one. He did a lot of those. I think that was Howard Hawks.
I'm not sure. I'm sure I watched a documentary or something, and that came up. I think
I love those old screwball comedies, though. Those are great.
Yeah, well, it's like a category of American cinema. So I like to watch. I just move around. Move around, except for right now, like we were saying before the show, I try and catch up on whatever year it is. So I've been trying to watch as many 2022 movies as possible.
Yeah. Well, I watched Top Gun Maverick. That was pretty good.
So what have you seen?
Let's see. I've seen
out of what's been nominated,
Top Gun Maverick, and then I've seen the trailer for The Fabelmans. I've watched one clip from Tar with Cate Blanchett.
I just added that. I wasn't gonna watch it, but I think enough of it's been nominated. I'm like, okay, I'll watch it. And I think she's kind of a shoo-in, I've heard. Yeah. Or no? Is she? She's actually in a leading role. Oh no! I think Michelle Yeoh's the shoo-in.
Yeah, I think actually Top Gun's the only one that I've watched.
Oh my god, dude! What about Everything Everywhere All at Once?
I know. I need to watch that. I will watch that.
It's really good. It's really, really good. My top movie so far is Banshees of Inisherin. I think I talked about it on the pod. I loved it. One of my highest rated new movies in a while. Really, really good.
And it's got Colin Farrell in it too, right? The Penguin.
Yeah, he's actor in a leading role. That's who I want to win. I haven't seen The Whale. That's why I keep coming back to him. Like, because I started making a list, and this is just an initial impression of like, I always do who I want to win and then who I think's going to win.
Yeah.
And for a lot of these, I keep coming back to him like, yeah, but I haven't seen The Whale yet because I want Colin Farrell right now because I've seen Elvis, Banshees, and After Sun. I want to talk about that because that's what I just saw this weekend. So I'm like, I want Colin Farrell to win, but then maybe I want Brendan Fraser, but I just haven't seen it because one, I love Brendan Fraser. He has a great story. He seems like such a great guy. Yeah, and I would love to see him win, especially for something that like he was known as a heartthrob. And like tons of women I know where like Brendan Fraser was kind of one of those what's it called, like a sexual awakening type actors.
Yeah,
I feel like for me, like we're the same age. I think you're like a year older than me, right? So for me, it was like Britney Spears.
Yeah.
Personally, it was like Britney Spears. It was Christina Aguilera, the Olsen twins. These were kind of my sexual awakening.
Mine was Topanga from Boy Meets World.
I didn't get that. Was on Disney, right?
or ABC, which is owned by Disney, but yeah.
Wait, it was on AB. It was on network television.
Yeah, it was. I think it was on the TGI Friday, the TGIF thing.
Oh, I was gonna say I never watched it. I thought it was on. Maybe it's Even Stevens.
Mm,
Because I was like, I never watched Boy Meets World growing up because I didn't get Disney. But
Yeah.
I guess I just didn't realize it was on network television.
yeah.
Of course, I knew Topanga, but yeah, like Topanga, I thought Topanga was more my brother's generation. Well, not my brother's generation. He was the same generation, but he's like 5 years older,
Right.
or 5 years older. But yeah, Topanga, the girl. Who's the girl on Saved by the Bell? Kimmy.
Oh yeah,
the
yeah.
one that was also like my brother's age, I feel like. But anyway, so Brendan Fraser was like known for just being really good looking and a good actor, but like very much good. But now he's playing the exact opposite. He's playing a morbidly obese person in The Whale.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. I really want to. My roommate just watched it, and he said that it's a pretty hard to watch movie, which is what you expect from Darren Aronofsky. He doesn't shy away from.
Oh, it is Aronofsky?
Yeah, he doesn't shy away from emotionally disturbing stuff.
He did Requiem for a Dream, right?
Yes, that was him.
So yeah, talk about. I've heard. I thought this was a play. Wasn't The Whale a play? And plays that are adapted plays can become like very cerebral and deep because that's like the point of drama, right. On the theater, and you need that.
Yeah.
Well,
you know what's interesting? I wonder if this is like. I wonder if Aronofsky does this on purpose or if it's just kind of like a little trend of his. But he also did that movie, The Wrestler, with Mickey Rourke.
Love it. Oh my god, it's so good.
But it was also seen as sort of like a comeback because Rourke got nominated for an Oscar for that. So I wonder if it's like, is he good at just sort of like taking actors who are just like, you always kind of were at this level. You had a few decent movies and you were big for a bit and then you kind of floundered.
That was Mickey Rourke's comeback. Dude, that movie takes place in New Jersey, by the way. That's
the only bad part.
It's just cool to be like, oh, they're on the Asbury Park Boardwalk, or they're and like they're talking about like towns I know and stuff. But it's kind of like that part of New Jersey that is just like ignored, like Rahway and you know, these towns that are they're not Hoboken and Jersey City and like the nice suburbs. And they're not the suburbs of Philly, and they're not even like Atlantic City in the area where I live. There's like this middle part of New Jersey that to me is the most New Jersey of New Jersey.
Right.
And that's why it's like where like a lot of Clerks takes place. Like that's why I love those movies, because it's this section of New Jersey to me that's so pure Jersey.
Yeah.
And anyway, I do love that movie though.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a great movie. But yeah, so The Whale, that's one on here where I'm like, I'm gonna just rent it if it doesn't come onto one of my streaming services.
Yeah.
So do you want to read these articles first or just review them? I mean, they're like the most superficial bullshit, or do you want to go through noms?
Let's go through noms, because there's another movie on here that I watched. It was The Batman.
Oh yeah, wait, what was it nominated for?
None of the categories that I was hoping for.
Yeah. Batman was really good.
Yeah, it was nominated for sound, makeup, and hairstyling, which that was good, and then best visual effects, which were good. I was hoping, I know it's kind of a long shot, but dude, Colin Farrell as the Penguin, like I thought he kind of lost himself in that role. Like I was like, I know it's a long shot, but at the same time, it's like, it's so good. This is sort of like,
yeah, it was really good, but I just don't think he was in it enough. He wasn't like he would obviously be a supporting, and I don't like when they nominate a supporting actor who's like not even the like really like a supporting of a supporting actor.
Yeah,
I don't know what to call it, but that's what Farrell would be in that movie. At least I think, right?
And no, he definitely had a pretty small role in that. And it kind of blows my mind that the director of that movie was like, you know who should play the Penguin? That Irish guy. It's like it's just like how did you? I mean, it's kind of a stroke of genius that he was able to pull that out. But it's sort of like that's never in a million years to think. I would think, like John Goodman or Josh Gad or some other kind of like kind of
larger man.
Actor. Yeah. Rotund is
that's what's that's great acting. And I actually, to be honest, I forgot it was him. Like I knew it was him. I had heard obviously the casting, and I listened to podcasts that talk about movies. It's a movie podcast. So I knew it was him, but then I watched it, and then during the credits, I was like, oh shit, that was Colin Farrell.
Yeah, don't you love that?
My God. Yeah, I do love that. That's great. But I thought if anyone should be nominated for that, I thought it'd be Paul Dano.
Oh yeah.
He was great.
Yeah.
I think I won't say he's underrated, but he's one of my favorites. Who never is like, he's never like a lead, right? Well, actually, that's
Right.
not true. Swiss Army Man, he's the lead, and he's
Mm.
great, and I love that movie. Have you seen that?
No, that doesn't that one also have
Daniel
it was
Radcliffe.
yeah, Harry Potter, right? Yeah, he was in that one.
Yeah. He plays a flatulent corpse, and he's
Nice.
awesome. And um, and that's also the Daniels who did Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Do you know who they are?
No.
Oh. So the Everything Everywhere All at Once and Swiss Army Man were co-directed by these two guys named Daniel. One's Asian, one's white. I can't remember their last names. Off the top of my
Quan
head.
and Shine.
Yeah. Asian and Jewish,
Yeah.
standard, assuming Jewish. And they go by like the Daniels is like their thing. Like they're called the Daniels.
Oh,
So-
gotcha.
So
Like the Safdie brothers.
yeah, like the Safdie brothers. How do you feel about co-directing?
I don't know if I would ever do it, but I like it when it's done and it produces and it results in good movies. I mean, like the Coen brothers or like
That's true. Yeah, I didn't mean like you personally doing it. I meant just like when you see a movie is co-directed, what do you think?
I'm more often than not, from the handful of co-directing co-directed films that I've seen, they've been good movies. I find it hard to where it's like, would one person be like, yeah, all right, cool, that was good, let's move on to the next shot, and the other guy's like, wait, hold on, let's do one more take. It's like, no, but it's great, but it wasn't. So it's like, there has to be some kind of system, I would think, where it's like, can we work out who, like, do you handle more of the actor stuff, and I handle more of the cinematographer? I'm always just kind of fascinated, like who handles what, who says, yeah, that was a great take, you were terrific in that, let's move on to the next setup.
I don't know. I wouldn't think it's a good idea. Obviously it works for some. Like you said, the Coen brothers are fantastic.
Safdie brothers, I've liked their movies.
And Safdie brothers are great. I like, so far the Daniels, I think, have only done 2 movies together, I think.
Yeah.
And I think they're both great.
The Russo brothers did a lot of Marvel stuff. I can kind of see that needing 2 directors. Because
what else have they done?
I know they did they did a lot of comedy show, a lot of sitcom stuff. I think they did like
what movies have they done?
There was that one, I think it's You, Me, and Dupree.
All right.
It might have been like their only movie.
Oh, you mean like rom-coms?
Yeah.
Besides that, they just did like Marvel stuff?
Yeah, at least movie stuff. Yeah.
Well, like, so for movies, I'm indifferent. Like, I think if a good movie is a good movie.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest though, if I see a book, let's say a fiction, like a novel is co-written, I probably won't read it.
Yeah.
I don't know why that is. To like, I don't know, but there's something so weird to me. Maybe it's because I'm a writer and I write novels. Like 2 guys wrote a nonfiction history book about the Ottoman Empire or something. Like, of course, I wouldn't care, but something about a novel being co-written that just like weirds me out, and I don't think I'd read it. Like, off the top of my head, I like the only, I guess, YA fiction I've ever read as an adult is John Green. I know I've talked about him before. Looking for Alaska. His most famous book is The Fault in Our Stars. And he co-wrote a book, I think, An Abundance of Catherines. It's like, I don't want to read it. Like, I want to read a John Green book. I don't want to read a John, or maybe it was Will Grayson. I forget which one, but I don't want to read that book, even though I like his writing and I like him as an author. I like him as as like a YouTuber too, but directing, it doesn't bother me. Like, I don't know. I've unpacked that because I've never thought about that. But
the writing thing is interesting, and I can see why, because I mean, at least for me, like when I'm reading fiction, it's like, okay, this is like, a window into your imagination, and like the writing process is so personal. So it's like how do you like hand off some of your imagination to someone else, and how do you share? I don't know. That seems like an odd process to me. And I can see like co-writing the screenplay because like the art is not the screenplay, it's what ends up on the screen.
Yeah.
So it's like I can write the story and then you can write the dialogue or something like that. It's like okay, but you guys managed to come together and as long as it's coherent enough, that makes a good movie. That's what really matters. But for novels, like you got prose and you've got pacing. You have all these different techniques. It's like different writers have different techniques. It's like
it almost seems like why would you do it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
but I think it also. So I have not read this book, but the format did fascinate me. I've heard mixed things about it though, so maybe it doesn't work. But I know J.J. Abrams was one of the co-writers. The movie director, he co-wrote this book, and so he's friends with the novelist. And so the main book is a straightforward novel that his friend wrote, I believe. And then J.J. Abrams wrote a sort of secondary novel that takes place in handwritten notes on the actual pages. Because I guess the aspect, the format, the premise of the book is that like the book is being passed back and forth between two people, and I guess there's kind of like a wider story. So it's like a story within a story, and so like at least with that, it's like you have one writer writing one story and then someone writing the wraparound.
Yeah, it's like a stylistic thing, which could be cool, right? That I could see, but not just a regular novel written by two people. That seems too weird to me.
Yeah.
Would you always weirded me out? I guess weird me out is not the right term, but like how shows aren't always directed by the same people.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird? Like this episode of season 4, episode 7 of this show is directed by someone, and then episode 8 and 9. Like that's so strange to me, and I don't know why.
Yeah, from what I understand, most directors who dabble in TV, especially like series that have a lot of episodes in them, the directors are just sort of hired guns. So and tight schedules and tight budgets. It's like there's not a whole lot of room for experimentation. So there's rarely ever a time where you go, yeah, the season was pretty good, but that one episode was really good, and you go, oh, because it was directed by by Steven Spielberg. That's why it stuck out to me. Most of the time, it's like 90% of the directors are just kind of hired guns. They all kind of have a similar style. And they're also kind of like, that's what we pay you. Is like, as long as you stick to the style, we don't really care what you do.
Yeah. A lot of times it almost feels like it's just people like getting directing credits.
Exactly. Yeah.
Especially, a lot of shows, they can only do so much in 24 minutes or whatever it is. And all right. So you haven't seen any of these movies.
I saw the Batman and I saw Top Gun Maverick.
I like Top Gun a lot. I've seen both of those two, and I think they're both great movies. Like I said, 2022 is a fantastic movie year. Like I think I gave the Batman an 88 and Top Gun 91 or 2. Like I think I only gave 191 all of last year.
Yeah.
And it was this Italian movie, which was my top movie. It wasn't nominated for Best Picture. It was for like foreign or whatever they call it now. It's called The Hand of God, which is really good. But that is like this year I gave All Quiet on the Western Front. I thought was fantastic. You should do a lot of these movies are just on Netflix. You should like watch them on Netflix and Hulu.
Yeah, I should, especially All Quiet on the Western. That was interesting because that's a remake of like a movie from the 30s.
I think that's like a third time remake. Like I think I feel like it's in A Star Is Born type movie. Like every generation or every 2 generations, they just remake it.
Yeah,
of course, and that's a book, a very famous book.
Yeah,
and it's cool because it's the Germans. Like there's no Americans in it at all. It's the Germans fighting. I think the entire movie, the French, definitely the French. I don't know if it's all the French, but yeah, it's like, well, those were our enemies.
People with Frenchness.
Yeah, people like the French were catching so many ricochet shots in those comments. Well, so can you give context for what we're laughing about?
Yeah. So this is a text from
a tweet.
Yeah, this is from the Associated Press, I believe.
Yeah,
the AP style Twitter account. And so they've been posting a lot of stupid shit. So here's the initial tweet that they posted, because they've gone very woke, very ideological.
Yeah, they suck.
We recommend avoiding general and often dehumanizing the labels, such as the poor, the mentally ill, the French, the disabled, the college educated.
How did the French get in? First of all, the college educated, like what? The French. And of course, the exception to this is the Jews. Like that's when asterisk on the Jews. Besides that, like
I know
blacks. That doesn't sound very good either. Like the French. Like how so many people were quote tweeting, like Ahmad Aslikin was like, "You're right. It should be the retarded."
And so the tweet continues. Instead, use wording such as people with mental illnesses and use these descriptions only when clearly relevant. So it's like people with mental illness. So it's like people with Frenchness, people with like
People who don't shave their armpits,
people with college educatedness.
Yeah. I mean, this is the Stanford thing that we did an episode on. Just like, stop telling people how to talk.
Yeah.
Let shit happen naturally. Stop telling people what to say. Like, it's all means the same thing and makes you feel good to say the unhoused instead of homeless, but the guy still does have shoes on. Like, like
it's not solving the problem.
Like, my God, it's not fixing the problem. It's like, go to, sir, you're unhoused. like it's not doing anything. He doesn't give a shit. He's like, no, I'm Ralph. Like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I like how it's so often dehumanizing. The is very dehumanizing, and then so that the one of the responses from Damien Toll, I believe, he says it's okay to dehumanize the French.
Really, I like I know that's why you tagged me, because I like the French in general,
as an abstraction.
I do like the French as an abstraction, dude. I love France. I don't know. I think it gets a bad rap.
I just heard Theo Von going off on the French. He goes, "Yeah, I just came back from Paris, man, and like they're all just like, it's just like I just want to like hold them down and be like, what are you trying to say, bro?" But it's like it's just ripping on like the snobbiness of them. I think
it's a stereotype. Like, I was just in Paris. I love it.
Yeah,
it's a beautiful city, a beautiful country. I mean, it has its shitty parts too,
sure.
But I just think like it, to me, Paris, like that is Western civilization. Like that is it loves art and
literature,
family time, and literature and
architecture
and like
bread.
Security. Yeah, bread. Like what like epitomizes life more than bread? Like it's so. I mean, Bridget Fedesi talks about this, how her husband, who's a psychologist, I believe, or therapist or something, like there should be some sort of study done on why so many people started baking bread during the pandemic. Like, I do think that there's something biological there. And I don't know. I just defend the French. Except when they
as a concept.
Americans. Yeah, it's the French as a concept, except for when they rip on Americans. But I don't know. I kind of believe in the Oscar Wilde quote, when good Americans die, they go to Paris. Like I like it. I like it.
But yeah. So do we have any French movies nominated for best foreign?
Let's see.
Best Frenchness, best foreign.
Did they call it international feature?
Yeah, they changed it again. Foreign, international. Like,
well, close is Belgian, and I don't know if that's going to be in the French or the Dutch.
Right.
So no. Oh, I don't get how come Banshees isn't the international feature film for Ireland. If it's
maybe it was produced by an American studio. Maybe
is that how it works?
I think so. I think it's for productions that are not based in the U.S.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's
it's like the most Irish movie ever. Anyway, I think they should have. To be honest, I think they should have international, and they should have foreign language. Like, I do think those are different things, and
it's true. Yeah, because
I don't know. Like I think it's like just having a movie made in England is different than a movie made in like China.
True. I think I'm more ripping it because from what I understand, there was a controversy around that where it's like foreign sounds like we're othering.
Well, they're fucking idiots, but just do international or like foreign language. Like it is a foreign language. I don't know if
best movie that you got to read.
I think people who don't watch movies with subtitles are missing out on a lot of really fantastic movies. And I know people like that. I know people like that who are like, I can't watch movies subtitles. I'm finishing Argentina 1985 tonight. Really good movie.
Yeah.
It's a legal drama, which I love. It's historical. It's about after the there was a military coup in Argentina, I believe from 1976 to 83, 78 to 83, short-lived military coup. And then after, prosecuting, like, so the protagonist is the prosecutor, is to prosecute all these military junta guys, but they still have like a lot of support in the country. So he gets death threats and all these things and really horrific stuff.
Yeah.
But there's still like so much fascist support for these guys, which was surprising. Argentina is kind of a fascist country anyway.
Yeah. But
anyway, All Quiet on the Western Front was so good. I think it just shows how men really I went through kind of a war phase recently where I just happened to be I read The Good War by Studs Terkel, which is about World War II, and I watched All Quiet on the Western Front, maybe one other war thing, and it's like, I'm 32 now, and it is crazy to me, and maybe because I've gotten older, how young these soldiers are. Like, these are fucking boys.
Yeah.
Like, these are children who are getting their limbs blown off and their brains like psychologically scrambled, if not literally scrambled.
Yeah.
And it is so horrifying. And All Quiet on the Western Front shows that really well, how they're propagandized. And it's all this bullshit patriotism. And I mean, I say that with the American flag on my arm here, but I think there's good patriotism and then there's jingoism.
Yeah.
And and of course, these men aren't the ones on the front lines at all. And it's the boys who are being destroyed, whether they survive or not. Like, they're ruined. Yeah. You don't come back from the shit that they see. And I don't know. To me, it's such a good anti-war movie. And like entertaining and scary and thrilling. Like, I really think you should watch it.
I will. That reminds me of a quote that Hunter S. Thompson had. It was something like, politicians, like something about how they send young men out to wars that they never started or something like that. Or they send them to wars that they themselves started or something like that.
Yeah, of course. Of course. It's been that way forever. Really. I mean, at least back in the day, the guys were like at the front. Like George Washington was like in the boat. He was at the front. A lot of these guys were somewhere in the back, but they're still on the battlefield. Like Napoleon was on the battlefield at a minimum. It doesn't really.
But he was short though, so it's like cannonballs just flew right over.
He couldn't hit him anyway.
He had a tactical advantage.
I think that's also a myth, by the way,
that he was short.
Like, I think that comes from, and I've read this. I also don't know now if this is just cope, but that comes from when there were, I think, different measuring systems between England and France, and that with the English one, he was considered short, but he was actually just like very average. Like, he definitely wasn't tall, but he wasn't like he wasn't noticeably short.
Right.
I don't know. I need to be.
And wasn't the foot like as a measurement? Like, wasn't that like based on the king's foot, so that unit of measurement can change?
I don't know.
I heard, but that could be another one of those.
That could be another one of those things. I think it was also
cats are milk is good for cats.
I think it's right. Exactly. It's not true. So
I know. Yeah.
Unless you want to have diarrhea all over your floor, do not give your cats milk.
But
I think there's a lot of anti-Frenchness propaganda that the English were saying, but
maybe that was like a popular insult back in the day, where it's like, yes, well, your king is short.
Yeah, he had 2 bats in a month. He was a fancy boy.
and your mother was a goat.
Hey, you know what movie I'm definitely not going to see?
What's that?
Women Talking.
Oh God! Yeah.
Who thought that would be a good title? Now, it might be a very good movie, but who thought that would be? If you want to talk about, what movie was it when, I think it was the Ghostbusters movie, the all-female cast Ghostbusters, where it was like, men, step aside, this movie's not for you. And then it was like how it started and how it's going. It's like, why no men? How come no men went to go see the Ghostbusters movie? It's like, this is doing that, but without being so overt. Just
right.
Who do you think wants to go see a movie called Women Talking?
Little Women did the same thing. The remake from a few years ago. Like, there's all this.
Oh, maybe that was it. Maybe it was Little Women.
Yeah.
Which I saw and liked. That's also, again, that's a movie that gets remade like every generation.
Yeah. But yeah, that's another one of those movies. Like, why aren't men going to see a movie called Little Women? It's like because it seems kind of pervy if a man does it. Like,
Well, no, it wasn't. Yeah, I don't think it was just that. It was like this movie's not for you, and then
exactly.
when we don't show up, it's like, are you surprised?
Yeah.
Yes, there's a bunch of like simps out there who are like, oh, I'm not supposed to see this, so I'm gonna go see it.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
Triangle of Sadness is on my list. Top Gun I saw. Tar's on my list. The Filmins is on my list. I'm doing Best Pictures, by the way, now. Saw Everything Everywhere All at Once. It's great. It's not my top, but it's great. Elvis was really good. Not
Really?
my top bit. I really liked Elvis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Interesting.
that was really good. It was really fun. I'm surprised it's been nominated as much as it has been.
Yeah.
But I really liked it. For a biopic, I think it's better than a lot of biopics that come out.
Yeah, it's that Baz Luhrmann guy. His style is really over the top. So I
It's
can never
so over the
agree.
top,
Mm.
which I guess sometimes works, sometimes doesn't work. I really like Moulin Rouge because I like the music and I think it's fun and it's Paris. And we just talked about how much I like France.
There's no French people, right? It's all Americans playing French people, right?
You might be right on that. Well, it's not all Americans. It's Ewan McGregor. He's Scottish. It's Nicole Kidman, who's Australian. It's well, actually, John Leguizamo is American. Yeah, he's playing Toulouse-Lautrec, who I have a painting by him, obviously a print in that room.
Cool. Well, that's fine then. Yeah, maybe I'll check it out. There are no French people in it.
Wait, you've never seen Moulin Rouge?
I think I've seen the trailer. Is that the one with Richard Gere, or is that?
No. Richard Gere.
Wasn't he in a musical? No, I'm thinking of Chicago. I think that's the one I'm thinking of.
Oh, Chicago. Can I do a Richard Gere side story real quick?
Yeah, go for
It's
it.
like a tangent. Not tangent,
like him
but
here on
just
the
experience. Was
we
that?
like Richard Gere here on the Reckless Music.
I like Richard. I like Richard Gere a lot. But so when I lived in Spain after college for a year, I was with my host mother, who I was at my orientation. So I lived with the host mother for like 3 weeks, like we all did, and then we all kind of went to our separate cities and towns, pueblos and whatnot. And this was the beginning, so I really didn't have like that much of a grasp on Spanish yet. So I'm sitting there watching TV and we're having lunch, and there's just like this montage of Richard Gere that comes on. And I'm like, oh my God, Richard Gere died. Because like that's what happens when a celebrity dies. They do a montage and there's like someone narrating and just like different, if it's a movie, if it's an actor, just, different screenshots and scenes. And then I find out it's like, oh no, they just really like Richard Gere. In Spain. They call him, the term is galan. It means like a really just like a really handsome man, just like, oh, he's galan, like he's like a handsome guy. And he's like, how David Hasselhoff is huge in Germany?
Yeah, I was just about to bring him up.
Yep, that's Richard Gere in Spain. So I learned that. I was like, oh, he's not dead. They just really like him. They just had some stuff about Richard Gere just at lunchtime on one of their channels. Like, okay.
Oh man.
Yeah. But anyway, I don't think I'm gonna see Avatar, because actually I forget I haven't seen the original Avatar. It's one of those movies I think I just missed it, and I think we talked about this. Where at the time I think I didn't see it for political reasons. Yeah, because I was very conservative Republican, just like, oh, this is just like anti-military and like pro-environmentalism, like, which it is, like anti like imperialism, and like now I am kind of all those things, but still don't really want to see it. And I think it's just past me. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, especially now that James Cameron's become more woke, like outspokenly woke, it's just sort of like, oh, come on, dude. Like,
yeah, that definitely doesn't, and that doesn't endear me to him either. Like, if he came out and was kind of like I don't know, like a not Viggo Mortensen. I always fucking mess him up. Danish guy who I love. Oh, fuck. Mads Mikkelsen.
Yeah.
I think they're both Danish actually. But like Mads Mikkelsen who's like come out and talk about like kind of woke bullshit and PC stuff and free speech and those things. Yeah. Like even something minor like that it endear me to him to like go see the movie. But like especially if I'm on the fence and it's not like I need to see it anyway, and then you're gonna talk like what was he saying, that testosterone needs to be like tempered,
is a toxin that
it's a
men need to work out of
toxin,
their system,
which is like not how biology works. But
so Joe Rogan actually pointed this out on his podcast, that women actually have more testosterone than men on average, but they have more estrogen as well.
Yeah.
So it kind of balances out. But it's sort of like, what do you mean men need to work out testosterone out of their system? Women have more testosterone than men. Like, what are you talking about? It's just so dumb.
It's very dumb. And just like, it's like, dude, just like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, just stick to movies. Like, what are you talking about? But anyway, so I'm not gonna see that. And then All Quiet on the Western Front. So I've seen a bunch of these. I think, well, I haven't seen The Fabelmans yet, but I don't have to see it to know that Spielberg directed it. And obviously, how many Oscars does Spielberg have?
I think he's got 4 wins.
All for directing or Best Picture.
Best Picture and director. Yeah. I do want to see, because David Lynch is in it. Actually.
Yeah, I know
he's got a small role. Oh yeah.
I have some of his movies on my list that I'm just waiting to go on streaming, like Mulholland Drive, and
that's a good one.
Did he do The Straight Story?
Yes, he did. His only like PG or G-rated movie for Disney.
Wait, is that what it is?
I think technically it was released by Touchstone Pictures, but it's owned by Disney, so it is sort of like David Lynch did a G-rated movie for.
Oh, I have no idea what it is. It's just on my phone list, and I can't even like get it on my TV to get on stream. I can't find it basically. But I'll maybe.
I heard it's really good. It's just like very restrained David Lynch. Like, he doesn't get all weird and dreamy, from what I understand. But it's
yeah, I know you like him a lot.
Yeah, me too. I know that too. I know I like him. It's pretty cool.
I don't know. Right now, unless something else is amazing, I think Banshees is. I loved it so much. I think it's so beautiful. It's like beautiful to look at. It's the messaging is beautiful. It's so like simple. Like it all starts because someone says, "I just really don't want to be around you anymore." Like it's so simple, and it's one of those things where it's so fucking Irish, just so Irish, and it's macabre. And do you know what it's about?
No.
Oh,
are there banshees in it though?
No, there are no banshees.
Forget
it. Forget it. I don't, dude. See it. It's like, you're a film lover. You will love this movie. I mean, don't you like In Bruges?
I haven't seen it, but I know that guy. He does
you
movies.
Haven't seen In Bruges?
Martin McDonough.
Who am I talking to? You haven't seen In Bruges? I guess we'll talk about it.
I'm stuck in the past.
How have you not seen In Bruges?
I'm still watching Hitchcock movies and.
Okay, but they're not going anywhere. How many times do you have to watch Vertigo?
No, I'm still working through Hitchcock's library. He's directed a whole bunch of movies.
You know what?
It's silent movies from the 1900s, the 1910s.
God damn, dude. All right. Maybe we should, I think if we want this podcast to continue, maybe we should each like give each other a list of movies that each other have to see.
Okay.
And just so we have stuff to talk about.
Yeah. Wait, I'm listeing to you, aren't I, honey? Sweet.
Anyway, I went to a movie theater this weekend. I thought you'd love, because it's very classic. It's in the East Village. It's called, I don't remember what it's called.
Oh, come on.
But it was by, because it's like the movie theater is called one thing, but it's run by something else. I think it was run by something called like Angelica something theaters or films. And I didn't end up going to the IFC one because they didn't have any like good times for movies I wanted to see.
Yeah. And
this other one was actually closer to where I was and closer to, my fiance's theater when she was at the show. And this one had movies that were on my list to see. And it had a really cool, first of all, a lot of like underground, which is pretty normal for New York, but it was all like Moorish architecture, which was really sweet.
Huh.
You don't see that a lot. You don't see that like an AMC.
Yeah.
And
I don't even know what Moorish architecture looks like.
It's like the Arab, Spanish, like Iberian architecture. Like,
okay, really Aladdin beautiful sort of thing. Like,
sort of, yeah. Yes, but I would say it's more. I mean, Aladdin's fake, but yes, it's really intricate and calligraphy and that sort of stuff.
Gotcha. Kind of like Fry's Electronics. Did you ever?
Like what?
Like Fry's Electronics. Do they have those? Or, oh well, I think they shut down actually. But they
Fry's
have,
Electronics?
oh, it's probably only a West Coast thing, or maybe just a California. So it's just like this huge electronics store chain
Oh.
in California, but each one's different. So it's like there's a Wild West one, and there'll be
Oh,
an Egyptian
really?
one, and,
Oh, that's
and
pretty
like an
cool.
Aztec one.
No, I've never heard. It might exist here. I never heard of it. We had.
They shut down. I think they went.
Was it like a
bankrupt
Radio
few.
Shack?
It was like a Radio Shack, but huge, like a huge,
Okay.
huge, like
Like
Best Buy
a
size thing.
like a Speaker City type thing, or
Yeah. But they would just have like mannequins, and they were all like decked out. It's so weird. Like it was like a high tech store, but it was always like a past theme. But
that's
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
So basically, I say all this to get to the point that I saw After Sun, which is nominated for some things. I know actor. Let me see, or lead actor. Yeah, actor in
Paul
leading
Mescal.
role, Paul Mescal. I don't think I liked it as much as the Academy or other people. It doesn't. It has a lot of implications, I guess, and maybe I wanted more answers. And I guess there's some beauty in those implications and like drawing your own conclusions.
Right.
To sum it up, it's a young father. I think he's like in his late 20s, early 30s. So I suppose, and this takes place in the 90s, I believe. And his daughter go on a trip. They're in Turkey, but like in an all exclusive resort kind of thing in Turkey, where it's all like British people.
Yeah.
And you can tell he like doesn't have a lot of money, but he's doing this trip to spend time with it. He's divorced or separated and doing this trip with his daughter. And it's a lot from like her perspective. And there's this sense of dread in the movie where you like there's you almost feel like he's sick, but he's not. Like you think you just want him at some point to say like I have cancer. Like that's what I'm not saying you want that, but that's what it feels like. There's this sense of dread. It's like, why does this feel like it's a farewell?
Right.
And I think it was, and you don't know though. Like that's the thing. And I don't think it's as literal as I'm making it out, but it's pretty clear that this was like maybe a last good memory type thing for the daughter, because you see the daughter as an adult. Bless you. You see the daughter as an adult, not much. So there's like most of the movie, I guess, would be considered flashbacks, but like a single flashback. And I don't know. He's really good in it. He's a really good facial actor, like someone who can there's a lot of character in his face.
Yeah,
and there are some really powerful scenes because his daughter's, I think she's like 10 or 11, and at that age you say like sometimes they say things that no one else will say,
right?
Or like things that can really like I don't have children, but like if my daughter said this to me, it would be just devastating, and to her it's just kind of off the cuff. But there just wasn't enough of a plot for me,
right?
For it to be like an excellent movie. I think it's worth seeing.
Yeah.
But I was looking at some of the reviews and its scores and everything. It's like I don't have it that high.
Yeah.
But that's what I saw.
So of the movies that you've seen that are nominated, which one do you think was the most Oscar baity? Where sort of like, okay, you're just kind of checking off the boxes.
Let me see. So let me go back to it. This for Best Picture, Oscar Beatty. Let's see. Well, I haven't seen it yet, but my answer is going to be The Fabelmans. It's a movie. It's a movie about making movies. It's a fictionalized biopic.
Yep.
About making movies by one of the most iconic directors in Hollywood ever. Yeah, that's Oscar bait. Like that's now. I'm not saying it's wrong. Like if I were Steven Spielberg, I would probably make the same thing. Why not? You're Steven. You can make whatever you want. But yeah, that's definitely going to be my answer.
I would agree with you, and I think I will agree with you.
You should always agree with me.
I can't name. I will say that one of the movies that I thought was the most Oscar baity that I've seen was The King's Speech. Do you remember that one?
Oh wait, you mean ever or this?
I meant the question was for this past year, but now I'm just
okay.
like ever. Are there any movies to you in the past that you think ever were just like, yeah, it was a fine movie, but it got way too much fucking love. For me, it's The King's Speech. I thought it was very fun when I was watching it, but as soon as I left the theater, I forgot about it.
Really?
Yeah, I thought it was good, but it was just sort of like, and it didn't take any chances. I think it was just sort of like, their trials and tribulations, and it ends on a happy ending. And
I don't know. I really liked it. Again, so the Academy loves. Well, that's not about making movies. It's
a historical
in the area of it, right? Elocution and it's historical. It's momentous, right? It's about bringing the country together during World War II, and I could see that. I'd have to really think about this. What's the most Oscar baity movie I can't think about it off the top of my head, but it is something to consider. I will think about that and get back to you. But for this year, definitely The Fabelmans.
Yeah. Of the ones that you've seen, which do you think was the most Oscar baity? Was it After Sun? Is that the one that you think is kind of like, they're just kind
After Sun's not nominated for Best Picture.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
It is for actor in a leading role. I guess I wouldn't say any of them really are. I mean, Elvis it's a Baz Luhrmann biopic about Elvis Presley. It's like exactly what you think it's going to be, except it does like something really dumb, I think, with Tom Hanks. It's told through Tom Hanks's character, who's this manager, I guess.
Yeah, he played the Colonel Sanders type character or whatever.
He's really weird. I don't know. I guess that. Yeah, I guess I'd say Elvis, but I didn't watch that and think it's Oscar bait. I watched it, with the context that, like I just said, it's a Baz Luhrmann movie about the most flamboyant like figure in American history.
Yeah.
Like who's real? I mean, Liberace, of course, but like,
I was exactly going to say.
Yeah, like who's not gay? Like, I mean,
he's pretty. He's pretty glittery though. He's pretty blingy back.
Yeah, he was so flamboyant, Elvis. Like, so yeah, I don't know. That's just, and I like Elvis. I do. I think there was a time. Not maybe we're still in that time where like you can't say that you like Elvis, but I think that's gone on for a while because several generations ago, obviously, we're obsessed with Elvis, and then obviously the generation after that thought he's lame and couldn't stand him. But we're several removed. I think he's great.
Yeah, I love Elvis.
Yeah, I think he's great.
I remember you when you were here in LA, you showed us the like one of his performances from when the Hawaiian comeback special or something. Yeah.
Oh, I did. I showed you that. Yeah, it was and
he's just belting the hell out of it. That was great.
Yeah, he crushes it. And he's sweating bullets because he's still wearing his full piece whatever stuff and his big hair. That was an American Trilogy.
Oh, okay.
And he kills it.
No.
That's actually that song. I found that song because it's in. Have you seen Kick-Ass 2?
No, I haven't seen that one.
Oh, Kick-Ass 2. It's in the climax.
Oh, okay.
They play it, and I was like, the song rules. And it rules. To say someone gets blown up with like a rocket launcher, and they're playing that song, and it's sweet. Yeah.
Should we talk about the controversies around this year's Oscars?
Did you do air quotes when you said that or no?
I mean, it seems like it's pretty dumbed down. Like nobody.
I don't think they're They're not real controversies. But let's talk about them. Which one do you want to start with?
So let's look at the Hollywood Reporter one that I sent you.
You sent me Parade and Variety.
I thought I sent you 4 links.
You sent me 2.
Shut up.
Did you send me 4?
Yeah. Oscars episode.
You lie. You lie. Did you?
Yeah, I did.
Well, I don't do my homework anyway. So.
Okay.
I'm sure this isn't Chaucer. I can catch up.
Yeah, you'll get the gist of this very quickly. So this is in the Hollywood Reporter, but several other articles, so there several other publications have written the same exact thing. So they're very happy with the Asian representation here, largely because of everything today and all at the same time or whatever.
Yep.
So they're really happy about that, which is cool. But they're still upset that there is a lack of Black representation here.
Here it is. Yeah. Okay. Oh, so I see. You sent me 2 and then 2, and I thought those were 1 and 1. But yeah, okay. So I have it up here. Yeah. All right. So who should have been nominated? Who is Black?
Viola Davis seems to be one that people think we're
She's a good actress.
That's
on my list. That's one of the movies that I wasn't interested in seeing, but I added it because of the Oscars.
Yeah,
it actually does sound kind of cool. I saw Nope, and I thought Keke Palmer was good in it. I wouldn't be surprised if. Let me see, actress. Hong Chow, Carrie Condon. She was good. I don't think Jamie Lee Curtis should have been nominated for actress. So I could have seen Keke Palmer actually. I kind of get that. Like,
sure.
I don't think you should have 2. I'm not saying you can't have 2 from the same movie. You should.
Yeah.
If they deserve. I don't think Jamie Lee Curtis should for Everything Everywhere All at Once. She was good in it.
Yeah.
But I would put Keke Palmer there. So I guess there's that. Do they talk about her?
I don't think so.
I mean, I'm not going to see Black Panther Wakanda Forever. I saw the first one. I'm just
you
not. And then,
should. If you
want of course,
support representation, you should probably watch Black Panther Wakanda Forever.
I just don't, dude. I'm just done with those kind of movies. And I haven't watched a lot.
I'm sure you'll come back.
Can I clarify what I mean by those kind of movies? I mean like Marvel movies.
You'll come back though. I'm sure you'll see the light. You'll see the light.
It's too much. It's overwhelming. And Black Panther, I liked Black Panther a lot. But I did not need a sequel to it, especially now that that he passed away. Chadwick Boseman passed away. He was great in it.
Yeah, he was.
So,
but yeah, so that's the thing. Like, and we've said this many times before, but like, you can never satisfy the woke. It's two Black actors have been nominated for top awards. And here's the thing, like I don't, we've talked about the new quota system that they had, or where it's like, movies going forward, they have to check off a certain number of boxes of.
Are they doing
diversity.
that?
I'm not sure. I think that was supposed to be implemented. That's going to be implemented in 2025. It's got a lot of pushback. I don't know if they've made changes to that. But I know that, studios, I think, are slowly trying to transition into being more diverse and inclusive and all that. But one of the issues with that that initiative was that they kept a lot of that stuff from the public. They're very private about, like, well, how diverse does my movie need to be? How many actors of color do I need to put in this movie? How many LGBTQ actors do I need to put in this movie? Like, it just seems very arbitrary, and just quotas in general for this sort of thing is really dumb.
So dumb. Yeah, we did that last year. We talked about that.
Last year,
yeah. It's so dumb, and I was kind of happy to see that. Like, I mean, we could comb through these once I see all of them and be like, oh, this person I don't think deserves one. This person does. Like I just said,
right? Yeah,
I think Keke Palmer should have gone for Jamie Lee Curtis. I mean, that's subbing in a black for a white, but I don't know. I just don't think I just don't think the shit matters.
Absolutely.
And I'm surprised actually because I did. I think like the Camera Barstool put up each category, like the main ones, and I was like, holy shit, these are all white guys, or these are all, and I was like, I am very surprised to see that. Right? Is Bill Nighy? Who's that? I don't know who that is.
He's that British actor, that old British guy. He was in Shaun of the Dead.
Shaun of the Dead?
Yeah, he played Sean's stepdad, I think.
Oh, yeah. I like him. He's good.
Me too. I like him.
So, yeah, like all white guys for actor and leading role, I'm honestly surprised to see that in 2023.
Yeah.
For 2022. I can't think of anyone off the top of my head who should replace them.
Right.
Because I think the movies that are really good that their leads are women, like Kate, like that have not white people would be like Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Mm-hmm.
And well, I haven't seen. Well, Kate Blanchett is white. Ana de Armas. I mean, that movie I think is terrible. I've heard Blonde.
Oh yeah.
I've heard it's like dog shit.
She's Mexican and Cuban, I think, or Mexican and Puerto Rican, I think. So,
right.
Nobody's brought that up. It's like, oh, hey, look, a Latina actress is being nominated.
Well, they vote for Republicans now, Joe, so they don't count. Yeah. So, I don't know who. And then Michelle Williams.
She's a woman, I think. So that's diverse, I guess.
Yeah.
So, you know, woke activist types, they always use this as an excuse to be self-righteous. So one of the articles that I think I sent you, the director Chinonye Chukwu.
Yeah, I was gonna say this. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, she's the director of the film Till, which I have not seen, but I heard it's good.
It's like,
but so she posted this on Instagram when they released the nominees. We live in a world and work in industries that are so aggressively committed to upholding whiteness and perpetuating an unbiased misogyny towards Black women.
Unabashed.
Unabashed. It's straight up like, 1952 over here. And yet, I am forever in gratitude for the greatest lesson of my life. Regardless of any challenges or obstacles, I will always have the power to cultivate my own joy. And it is this joy that will continue to be one of my greatest forms of resistance. And there's a fist.
What are you resisting?
Like, I don't know.
Like, maybe people don't want to see a movie about a young Black kid being lynched and murdered. Yeah. Like, that's what. Do you know what Till's about?
Yeah. That was
Till. Like, maybe people don't want to go spend $17 to watch that necessarily. Like, they want to go have fun, or like that is one of the most depressing things I can think of. Is a young boy being murdered because he allegedly, quote unquote, talks sass to a white woman.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like,
it's really bleak.
And not that people seeing the movie matters, because that's not what the Oscars are about, right? They almost did a category for that with basic popularity. They didn't do it to like include Marvel movies and things like that.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. Just because we don't know the votes, right? So let's say Till was on the cusp.
Yeah.
This is what I always say. It'll be like a Republican Trump will win the presidency, actually losing the popular vote, and he'll win. It'll be like, we're a racist country. Exactly. And then a Democrat will win by like 50.7%. It's like, oh, we're good again. Like, it's like, it says like you could have like maybe been on the cusp, and then you would be saying how great it is. And you wouldn't be saying things like whiteness and supremacy and all the shit, because you didn't get nominated for an Oscar.
No,
like, you didn't get. Like, I don't know what's Till's.
Well, I think there are a lot of problems I have with this, besides the obvious woke stuff. First off, like this reeks of, I made this movie to get nominated for awards.
Oscar bait, yeah.
And it's just sort of like, what about like,
it does have very good ratings, though. I will say that.
I'm sure it's a fine movie, I'm not criticizing the movie, and it's probably a moving, powerful film. But it's just sort of like, don't be upset that the industry that's given you a great opportunity to get a movie made, and then now you're mad that it's not like going that extra step to getting you and it's like, I don't know, there's just something where it's like, maybe for me it's just like, if I made a movie and it got nominated for an Oscar or multiple Oscars, I'd be happy. But it's like, I care more about, like, hey, did people like it? Is this something that I can be proud of years on later?
Yeah, it just doesn't. It's like The Boy Who Cried Wolf. It's like, do you really believe that the Academy Awards are like the emblem of white supremacy?
Yeah.
Like, really, like, they have been people from all different backgrounds and races and genders and whatever have been winning shit at the Academy, being nominated. Like, that is your barometer of white supremacy, is if the Academy, if there are enough women of color in supporting Best Actress,
Right.
like,
Um,
and it just takes away so much from any real problems that exist.
yeah. There's, from what I understand, from the stories that I've heard from various filmmakers, like the Oscars and just like the whole film industry is so political, and not in a partisan way. I'm not talking like Republican versus Democrat sort of thing.
Yeah.
So Tarantino told the story back when Pulp Fiction came out. He went on, I think it was like a hunting trip with Steven Spielberg and Robert Zemeckis, who's directed like the Back to the Future movies. And so this is in '94. And so I think the nominations had just come out. And so Pulp Fiction was nominated for Best Director, Best Picture, and Best Screenplay. But Forrest Gump was the front runner for that year. That was the year that Zemeckis came out with Forrest Gump. And so they went on this trip. And so Spielberg was telling a young Tarantino, he's like, look, right now, Pulp Fiction is great, and I'm glad to see that, on your second film, it's a box office hit. Critics love it. It's got all this it's got all these nominations and things. But I think Best Director and Best Picture are going to go to Forrest Gump. I'm just telling you that right now. I think that's what's going to happen. But you might win for. I think you're going to win for Best Original Screenplay. And by the way, getting that Oscar on your second movie, that's not bad. So it's just sort of like this, it's like, yeah, you might deserve Best Picture, but someone else is going to get it because they've been around the industry longer than you. Sorry.
Yeah.
And like, I would not be surprised if that's just how it works. Like, yeah, you're great. But this is your only second movie. Don't, hold your horses. We still got Spielberg. He came up with the movie. He's got to get a little more love too, sort of thing.
Yeah. I mean, and that's what happened with Leo. Like, Leo won for The Revenant. He probably shouldn't have, but he did deserve one, I think, in the past.
That's happened a lot, where it's like someone who's been in so many acclaimed movies, but like they either got nominated or they didn't win, or they just didn't get nominated at all. And it's sort of like a role that or movie that they did that wasn't as good, but it's sort of like, okay, they're on their 8th nomination. Just fucking give it to him.
Yeah, it's his time, which isn't. I mean, it's not how it should work. But
I know.
I've heard that the voting is different for Best Picture than for everything else, where it's like ranked choice. And that's where certain movies could win that are not necessarily everyone's favorite, but they're just like kind of the upper middle.
Yeah.
And that's why a movie like Green Book wins, because it's like, it's nice. It's about a white guy and a black guy, and it's historical, and has a good message, and it's good acting, but it wasn't like the best, but it wasn't polarizing, and it like, that's how it wins. I don't know exactly, but I mean, in the Academy, isn't it just voting and do they talk? Do you think like there's collusion? I think there's just a bunch of people who are just, they probably seen less movies than you have.
That
are nominated and just vote.
Probably.
Like, I don't know. I would love to be in the Academy so much. I think that'd be so. The Oscars are like my one kind of mainstream thing that I really love. Like I do, and I cringe so hard sometimes when it's like Michelle Williams gets up there and is talking about all the young girls who they didn't. It's like, lady, it's 2019. Like, we know that. Like you're past this. Yeah. Like, you're just saying the thing because it's your time, and you can see. I forget who it was. I think it was last year, The Eyes of Tammy Faye. Who was that?
The red Chastain. Yeah.
Like, you see her get up there, get her award, and she's really good. Like, great movie. I really liked it. And it's like a Rolodex of just like the things you're supposed to say. It's like, oh, I won. I am this as in a woman. But I'm a white woman, so I could talk about my privilege as being white, but also the overcome being a woman, and like young girl. It's almost like, oh, I'm supposed to say these things, and it seems so unnatural. And I think that was last year, right? Yeah.
Did you ever see that Between Two Ferns thing with Zach Galifianakis? And he had Bradley Cooper on, who I can't remember what he was nominated for. He was nominated for Best Actor, but I can't remember which movie. Maybe Silver Linings Playbook.
Silver Linings,
maybe. But he was nominated for that year. That he went on Between Two Ferns, and so Zach, it's so funny. And so Zach's like, "Oh, hey, by the way, I wrote a speech for you." And he goes, "Oh, you did? Oh, thanks, man. This is super thoughtful of you." And he goes, "Dear Academy, I'm sorry that I lost, and I'm a complete loser." And it's like, this sounds like he's like, well, in case you lose. So I thought I'd write that for you. I was going to touch it up. So, so he takes it back. But it's like I would love to see some like losing speeches. Some.
Oh yeah. But you mean people who thought they won, or people who
people who thought they were going to win? So it's but they
yeah.
lost. So they go to like they do a press conference and they apologize.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited for it this year because I think it is a really great year. I don't think Variety and Hollywood Reporter are gonna, and I want to talk about the Variety one, if anything, just for the title.
Yeah.
But I don't think this is. I think people are over this shit. Like for the most part, I really do.
Yeah.
Now the other one you sent me, was it Pause or whatever that was? Like the majority of that article are tweets.
Yeah.
If that, like, people don't even fucking try anymore.
Yeah.
Like these journalists don't even try. The Variety one, the title is Oscars 2023 Diversity Report. Why do we need a diversity report?
Right.
If you're someone who's checking on the diversity report, you have serious issues going on in your life. Like, because I actually don't believe, except for like a tiny sliver of people, who actually care about quote unquote diversity.
Yeah.
I think most people really care about their thing. So it's not diversity. It's, if I'm a black woman, I'm looking at how many black women. I don't think black women give a shit how many Asian men were nominated. I really don't.
Yeah.
And I think that's natural and that's fine. Like, so don't give me diversity because it's not that.
Yeah.
It's how much of my thing is there. Like how many gay men are there? If I'm a gay man, how many, whatever Asian women are nominated for best director. Like, I don't think they're going on there saying, show me all the non-whites.
Yeah.
I don't think they give a shit.
Yeah, the quotas thing and the diversity reports are so fucking irritating. Like, to me, it's like,
it's creepy.
It's creepy, and it's also like, I'm straight up bigoted. It's like, you're measuring the quality of films based on the amount of colors, quote unquote, are in it.
Yeah.
It just reminds me so much of like, a Klansman in the 1920s, like, like enforcing the one drop rule, just sort of like, well, like, we got to go through your lineage and see, make sure that's kind of
exactly. Well, that's why there's the horseshoe theory, and it's like they'll find any sort of diversity, and it's super creepy because like those are the people who are the most obsessed with race and stuff, like the white supremacists who are like trying to figure out how Norwegian they are, and then like the crits who are trying to find out like, oh please God, can I have some Cherokee in me? Like, like it's so creepy, so that they can pass for something. Because again, there's another white woman who was pretending to be indigenous up in I think it was Wisconsin, like Madison, which is like a super liberal college town, small city college town, and she like lied about everything, is just like a white lady. And it's like, this is actually a thing. And if you can tell a cult, like, you are not oppressed if people are trying to become that thing. Like, when I'm glad you brought up the one drop rule, like when Black people and Middle Easterners and other like non-white people were doing whatever they could to pass to be white, that showed that there was prejudice and oppression, because they were doing whatever it took to not be what they were to fit into whiteness.
Right.
The opposite is happening now. Especially white women, are doing whatever they can to not be white women, because like it doesn't make, you would not want to be oppressed. Right. Legitimately oppressed. You could want to be victimized, like fake victimized, because you get points, and that's the opposite of true oppression.
Who's that Indian chick? Mindy Kaling or Mandy Kaling? Her brother. They're of Indian descent. He passed. He to get into college, he pretended to be Black.
Med school, I think.
Med school,
and,
that's right.
Right, and that even shows. And she's not white. Like, they're not white. They're very. And a lot of people know Mindy Kaling. She was a co-writer of The Office and was in The Office and had her own show, The Mindy Project. And like her brother pretended to be Black.
Yeah.
Like, is that not?
And he wrote a book about it too, and kind of criticizing, these affirmative action type things.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Mindy Kaling. I apparently Velma came out. She wrote or whatever she did with Velma, and like everyone hated it.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I'm not gonna watch it, but like people said that it was not progressive at all. But then like conservatives were saying it was like changing, classically changing I guess a white character to a non-white character, so they didn't like that. But then
So there's
that
a lot of
non-white character was like anti-woke or something. I don't know. Do you know more than I do
Yeah, I think I know a
about
little
this?
bit more. So from what I understand, in some ways it's very, very woke. They
Okay.
there are a lot of jokes about like white male privilege and all this shit, but also
But is it
Velma, who
legitimate? Like, or is it satire?
I don't know. I've only seen clips. I don't know enough to
Okay.
judge, but
Okay.
there are also times when it seems not progressive, Velma makes jokes about the Me Too movement or something, and
Right,
that
right,
wokies
right.
thought were insensitive to
Yeah.
the Me Too movement. Um,
Yeah.
a lot of people have. It's funny, like Mindy Kaling, she seems to be hated by both the left and the right because she'll do something that is problematic that wokies won't like, but then she's also like, oh, we need more Indian women in film and television. That seems very
Right.
woke. So just, I wonder if she can kind of unintentionally heal America by just uniting everybody to hate her.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. No, I mean, she has come out and said like The Office wouldn't get made today,
Yeah.
which I honestly think that's saying something because it's the most beloved show in America.
Right. Right.
Like, not even close. Peacock exists because of The Office.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's not an exaggeration. Like, it exists because of The Office.
Yeah.
And to say that wouldn't get made to, like, I think that actually should sound alarm bells for people.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like, what new shows are coming out that are good?
Yeah.
That are network television, that sort of thing.
Right. Right.
It's just they're just not. So I don't know. Mindy, I think her, and then of course, like anything that ever happens when someone's being criticized, and I do think there was a lot, which is somewhat natural, just because of the nature of Twitter. A lot of the criticism of her, they've like played clips from like something from the Mindy Project,
Yeah.
where she's playing I think an OBGYN. I saw
Yeah.
it a while ago. My ex liked it, and she says like, why are you giving me like poor Muslim women in headscarves? Like, give me rich white women or something like that.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
and it's like, see, she's I'm tired of this Indian anti, and then it becomes like an intersectional pretzel because it's like, so I don't know. I don't care enough. It seems like that was the thing for the day. Like, she was the so-called main character of the day, and then it seems like it faded away and no one really gives a shit. But so I don't really care about these, like this, something like this Oscar 2023 diversity report is for a very select demographic.
Yes.
And I don't think anyone else gives a shit about this at all.
Yeah.
I
It's a
think
very circle jerky thing.
I think we're long past the day where like people care about who's on their screen in terms of like, oh, I won't watch a movie with like a black guy in it. Like, who's doing that is the fucking Chinese. Like, they actually say that still. Like the Chinese, like the Chinese, not like Chinese Americans. Yeah, they came out something recently. How I think like a video, like they don't want black men in their movies or something. Like,
jeez.
Yeah, no, they're super racist. Yeah, they're the real fucking racist. Like I've said this before, the best places on the planet for women, and I won't say people of color because I do think that varies, but like for women are Western liberal civilizations, like that are overwhelmingly white, like that are created by like that's just true. Like, show me, even in places like Japan and Korea, it's not as good to be a woman. And most people be like, well, you know what? In Iran, there's actually like more women in the parliament. And it's like, yeah, but they can also cut your head off or hang you if your headscarf falls off. Like, give me a break. And they'll always like pick these certain statistics. Like, they'll cherry pick these statistics. No, being in the US, Canada, the UK, France, Germany, Australia, New Zealand. I mean, those are shithole countries, those last couple, but still, like, it's still better to be in any of those as a woman
Yeah.
than to be in anywhere in Africa or Asia.
Yeah.
Or is like, is that wrong? I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but I can't imagine it being in any European country to be worse to be a woman. Maybe in some like Eastern European countries, if you're like a lesbian, it's as bad as some of these other ones.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like, these are the best places on the planet for you to be a woman.
Yeah.
I know. Statistically true.
If you go to a women's like a feminist protest at a college university or a college at any college, and it's like, you can get decapitated for saying and
you're in the safest place. Yeah,
like,
you're saying harm. You're in the safest place in the world right now. You're in like Eugene, Oregon, or Madison, Wisconsin, like, or Durham, North Carolina. Like, this is the best place for you to be. Yeah. I mean, the like parts of Latin America, it's so machismo. It is so shitty for so many women and gay people too. Like, the best places to be gay are Europe, North America, Oceania. Like, and the worst places are places like Uganda, Jamaica, Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Like, maybe in Japan and South Korea and Taiwan, it's good.
Yeah.
But like, these are the best places on the planet to be who you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. And also it's like, even if you live in a place where being who you are, like in the US, where it's like, there's maybe there's not quite as much tolerance. Like, okay, well then you can move. Like, you're not being, there are no laws saying you can't be gay. There are no laws saying that yeah, I know it's crazy.
Well, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't fight for and everything's relative, and sometimes that relativism is good and sometimes it's not. Like, but and I think you should always fight for equality, and you should fight prejudice, and there are some systematic forms of oppression, whether, even if it's not Uganda or Libya or something, fine. Like, you should always fight for those. Like, I'm a fucking legal services attorney, for God's sake. I absolutely believe you should always fight for your rights, your civil rights, and your liberties. But like, let's be real here. When we talk about things like white supremacy, like, that is so absurd.
Yeah.
And I remember like talking, and I like that we talked to Kimmy Katiti about this. Like, no, there has been legitimate white supremacy much more recently. And that's places like South Africa. There's legitimate white supremacy in the 20th century, in the late 20th century, which is nuts. Yeah. When you really think about how crazy South Africa was, like, but that's not what's going on anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I agree. I agree with every syllable that came out of your face.
Yeah, I mean, you should,
which is a rarity here on the show.
Yeah, I don't know. It just gets, because it's like, think about what you're saying about the patriarchy. Really think about it. Yeah. Like, it doesn't mean we don't have big problems here. I definitely think we do. Yeah. I think other countries do things much better than we do in some respects, in many respects, in some cases. And I think a lot more of our problems are like authoritarianism, corporatism, corporate welfare, like housing. Like, a lot of that is so much more economic and socioeconomic, and there's an overlap there with race, absolutely. Yeah. And there are some past wrongs that should be righted, and I think there are ways to do that, and there's some really dumb ways that some people are trying to do that, but there's some legitimate ways to do that in terms of reparations and funding. But like, let's be real here. Like, this is not the fucking patriarchy. Like, there are patriarchal societies out there, and this ain't one of them. Like, it's just not.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, if we actually focused on widespread problems like the ones you pointed out there, it's like so many of the problems that we attribute to race, or that wokies attribute to racism and sexism. It's like, if we actually like focus on poverty and corporate corruption, it's like 90% of those problems that you complain about, that you attribute to racism and sexism and whatever, will go away. Like, let's just help Americans in general, the ones who can't help themselves, or the ones who got fucked over by a system. No, it's much easier to play the victim. And especially, and getting back to the Oscars thing, it's like, you're a Black female director, and you made a film that's highly acclaimed, and you're bad, and you're angry that, and now you're accusing the Academy of being racist and sexist towards you. Yeah. It's like, do you know how fucking hard it is to get into Hollywood? Like, for anybody? Like,
I mean, I'm just looking here. Oh, let me go back to, and then we'll wrap up.
Yeah.
Best Picture. Quiet on Avatar. I'm just looking here real quick. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Maybe I will watch Tell if it has that good ratings, and maybe I'll be like, that should have been nominated for things. But I think I basically I think this comes down to you can be pissed that you weren't nominated for something, especially if it's deserving, and like you'll win more people to your side if you say just like I think it sucks I wasn't nominated. Like I think my movie, like, and you can come out and say like I think my movie's better than these movies.
Yeah.
Why people didn't see it? It's like I don't know. I think like didn't 12 Years a Slave win an Oscar?
Yeah.
Like I don't think it's because it's showing the like dark nature of American history. Like, yeah, no, tons of movies are about that shit. Like really well regarded movies. Like I don't know, it just missed. But I think your like how you react will win more people over than just saying it's like, oh, well, I wasn't nominated for Oscar, white supremacy.
Yeah, this was an opportunity for the director to show a lot of grace. I would have backed her up so much if there were a lot of people saying, "Oh, that movie should have been nominated for this, and this," and if she was like, "Hey, look, I love the support, everyone, but I'm happy with the movie, and I'm just gonna keep making more movies," I'd be like, "Holy shit!" Like,
I'm proud of what we did.
Yeah,
I'm proud of what we did. I stand by my movie. It's gotten great review. I mean, if it's true, which it seems like it is here, it has wide acclaim. I think you should all go see it. And that like would win so many more people over than just getting the like. I don't think you're not gaining any support by doing this.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said, it just reeks so much of I made this movie to get nominated. And it's like, well, I don't want to watch a movie like that. It's like, but if like, hey, I'm proud of it. It's like, like she actually cared about the project. She was passionate. This might be an interesting movie to check out. Yeah. But yeah, it's just like the lack of grace from I don't know. It's annoying. It's frustrating. It's bad for the art form too. It makes the film. I mean, like the film industry is already very morally bankrupt. But when you see people complaining like this, it's like you just look so fucking petty. Like just
yeah, and it's like if Beale Street Could Talk, didn't that win?
Which one was this?
Something if Beale Street Could Talk. I don't know. We don't have to start looking up.
Yeah.
But like so many movies, diverse movies have won, so many diverse actors have won. Yeah. It's like, what are you talking about?
Right.
So if 1 year 3 out of 7 nominees are black, and then this year 1 or 0, it's like that wasn't white supremacy in America, and now it's white supremacy. Like it doesn't make logical sense.
So one of the metrics that gets bandied about a lot with these is, and I don't know if this is necessarily what the Oscars is doing, and we've talked about that stupid initiative about them hiding what their process is, but one of the sort of metrics that gets bandied about in a lot of these things is it has to be representative of like the U.S. population. But it's like, okay, blacks make up about 13% of the U.S. population. Just like, does that mean that you're going to cap it? Like, blacks cannot be nominated for more than 13 Oscars. Like, is that you want to cap? Like, what if there happens to be a great year of movies that have a lot of black talented actors? And it's like, oh, but like they all deserve it, and so they actually made up like 20% of nominations. Like, who cares? They were talented. They deserve it. It's like, it just seems so bizarre and limiting.
You know what? And I say that all the time, and I agree. It's like representation is not the right word, and I don't think they realize that for that exact reason. But look, so 91st Academy Awards. What year was this? So this was the movies of 2018, right? Best Picture was Green Book. That was basically about the same, like it was the same time period as Till, right? I think it was the 50s. Racism. Black Panther was nominated. Black Klansman was nominated. Then you had The Favorite, which was all about lesbian women. Roma, which was about Mexicans, your people.
Oh yeah, those guys. Yeah.
A Star Is Born was about like a woman rising, to
a remake of a classic movie that's been remade.
Yes. Bohemian Rhapsody was about a gay man. That was 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Best Director, Black Klansman. So Spike Lee. And Yorgos Lanthimos. Greeks, they're tweeners, whatever. They're like not really. Best actor Rami Malek. He's at least part Egyptian.
Yeah.
Best actor. Well, okay. I mean, obviously, all the best actors are going to be. You know what movie you should watch? I think you would like. Have you ever seen Can You Ever Forgive Me?
No, I haven't seen that.
Melissa McCarthy. She's so good in that, and she makes so many shitty movies.
Yeah.
That are just like the female version of like shitty Adam Sandler movies, not good Adam Sandler movies. But like this movie's so good,
really?
and she plays like a dramatic role, and it's really really interesting.
Huh.
I don't know. Mahershala Ali won Best Supporting Actor. Regina King won Best Supporting Actress. If Beale Street Could Talk, so they won a nomination there. Best Adapted Screenplay, Black Klansman. Best Original Screenplay, Green Book. It's like, how can you say it's white supremacy?
Yeah. And also, it's going to fluctuate every year. Sometimes, the big Oscar the buzzworthy movies are sometimes they're going to be mostly white. Sometimes it can be pretty diverse. But that's part of the fun of it, though. In a way, it's like, oh, like I wonder who's going to get nominated this year. Yeah. But like it's just this expectation that every year, every Academy awards season, like we have to have a certain number of this group, that group represented.
Well,
I mean, it's just so fucking boring and predictable.
I'm glad to see it. So far, I haven't seen any movies. I mean, if anything, my favorite movie last year was an Italian movie, and that wasn't nominated. The Academy's Anti-Italian X.
Yeah.
We're people of color, kind of.
Yeah.
So anyway, I haven't seen any movie yet that I can think of that's like, oh, that got snubbed. Yeah, but we'll see.
I watched Under the Silver Lake. I think that should get some retrospective.
Retroactive. Is that 2018?
I think so. Yeah. But they should do like some retroactive awards love for that movie.
I'd like to see what percentage of our episodes do you think you mentioned Under the Silver Lake?
Probably 300, 400 times in like 10 episodes, I think.
Well, we have 61 episodes.
Yeah, so I don't think I started talking.
Do you think half?
Probably.
Do you think 50% of our episodes
it's a good quota?
You shoehorn in Under the Silver Lake.
I will say, so once in a while, I do like what the Oscars. So have you heard of that director, that filmmaker, Roger Corman? He's mostly known for doing a lot of B movies. I think he's still alive, making really shitty B movies.
What has he made?
So back in the 60s, he did those Edgar Allan Poe movies with Vincent Price. That's pretty much the only famous. He's made a bunch of trashy movies. But here's the thing: he got a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Oscars.
Cool.
Back like in 2010 or 2011. It's like that's kind of cool in a way, where sort of like the quality of work is not very good, but you did launch the careers of a lot of actors.
You hacked it. You just how long you just hack it?
Yeah, well, I mean, he's produced like hundreds, if not thousands, of movies because he like 20 movies a year. He just produced like there's a lot of sci-fi like Dino Crack versus Super Gator type shit.
Yeah, what I always say is, if everyone liked the same shit, if everyone wanted to live in the same place, eat the same food, it would be astronomically expensive, right? So we need all different types of stuff. Yeah. That's where I actually am very pro diversity, is having as many different options as possible. Yeah. I watch movies from all over the place, different languages, different themed, whatever it is, different genres. I think it's great. That's what I love about movies. Yeah. So I could be watching a legal drama about the Argentina military junta one night, and then the next night I'm watching Marcel and the Shell with Shoes On, which is also nominated for an Oscar, which looks fun. Yeah. Like I watched a French before I watched The Triplets of Belleville, which is this really cool animated movie from France in 2003. Yeah. Really kind of like freaky and great. I just love that kind of animation. The very like Art Deco-y looking buildings and skylines, and I wish there was more dialogue. There's not a lot of dialogues like pantomiming and stuff, but just really interesting. But anyway,
well,
on that note, all right, thank you, Joe.
All right, everyone, you're welcome. You're very welcome.
All right, we'll wrap it up.
All right, bye, everybody.
All right, the crits.